Welcome, my dear children. Are you all happy there? Always be happy and stay safe at home. Are you ready for today's class? Okay, let's start the class. What we learned in the previous class? Very good. We completed the second unit, Tales and Tunes. Today, we will begin a new unit. So, all of you take this page. Can you see a picture there? What idea do you get from the picture? Yes, about different means of communication. Describe the symbols and images or say what each one represents. Yes, you can see pigeon, earliest means of sending messages, computers, modern electronic media, etc. Now, what does the tree represent? Yes, the tree represents the growth or evolution of media and communication. Students, all of you read the title of the third unit? Yes, very good. Man and Media. This unit is about how the media evolved and developed over the years and how it influences and helps man in all walks of life. Now, all of you take page number 80. Look at the pictures shown below. What do these pictures tell us about? Yes, these pictures tell us about the stages of development in the field of sending messages. Do you remember stories in which birds and animals carried messages? Yes. How are messages conveyed nowadays? Yes, very good. Nowadays, messages are conveyed by email or SMS. Look here. Here is a passage that shows the evolution of messages. All of you read the title of the passage? Yes, the story of messages. Students, I will give you a model reading of this passage. All of you look into the text. Nowadays, when we want to communicate, we either email a person or send an SMS. Everything happens by the clicking of a mouse or the pressing of a few buttons. It was not so in the near past. Most people wrote letters, put them in an envelope, got them stamped, dropped them in a post box, and waited patiently to hear from the other person. Way back in the 1850s, letters went on horseback from the east to the west of America. One freight company decided to speed things up by hiring 80 men to take the mail to the west on horseback. In 1860, the Pony Express was formed. The riders for the Pony Express were chosen for their lightweight as well as their riding ability. Most of them were young boys. The route they undertook was a rugged one. It went from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California, a distance of over 1,800 miles. Each rider rode a total of 75 miles, changing ponies at different stations. The mail was carried in 4 leather boxes which were attached to a special saddle blanket thrown over the saddle. The changing of ponies was done in 2 minutes. The speed was a bonus because it cut the average delivery time from several weeks to about 10 days. The fastest trip was made in 7 days and 17 hours. This record was set by the rider carrying President Abraham Lincoln's first message to the US Congress. The poor riders had to ride through unknown terrains. Some routes exposed them to attacks from Red Indians and led them through dangerous territories. Newspaper advertisements for riders listed one important requirement: orphans preferred. Though exciting, the Pony Express was a short-lived experiment. It lasted for only 19 months. By then, there was a telegraph line from coast to coast. This was definitely a faster way of sending messages. But the invention of the radio brought in a great revolutionary change in the field of communication. Dear students, now all of you read this passage silently and try to identify the difficult words. Hope you all read the passage and identified the difficult words. Now let's discuss those words and their meanings. Freight means goods transported by truck or train from one place to another. Hiring means to give somebody a job for a short time. Orphan means a child whose parents are dead. Revolutionary, producing great changes. Rugged, rough and uneven path. Here you can see the picture of rugged path. Pony means a type of small horse. Here is a picture. Saddle means a seat made of leather on horse. You can see the picture here. Students, now I'll give you a summary of this passage. In the present world, when we want to communicate, we either email a person or send an SMS. It was not like this in the past. In the past, people wrote letters, put them in an envelope, got them stamped and dropped them in post box and waited patiently to hear from the other person. In the 1850s, horses were used to deliver messages in America. One freight company hired 80 men to speed things up. They took the mail on horseback. In 1860, Pony Express was formed. The riders of the Pony Express were young boys with good riding ability. They went through rough path from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California. Each rider rode a total of 75 miles. They changed ponies at different stations. The mail was carried in leather boxes. The fastest trip was made in several days and 17 hours. This was done by the rider who carried President Abraham Lincoln's first message to the US Congress. The poor riders had to ride through dangerous territories. They preferred orphan riders. The Pony Express was a short-lived experiment which lasted for only 19 months. Then came telegraph, which is definitely a faster way of sending messages. But the invention of the radio brought a great revolutionary change in the field of communication. Students, hope you all understood this passage. In the next class, we will discuss about radio and television. So all of you read this passage very well and try to answer the questions given in the textbook. See you in the next class. Thank you, dear children.